Hey, what's going on people? It's SGZ here from the Spartan Game Zone, and in this video I'll be counting down the top 10 Easter eggs in Borderlands 3. You may think Borderlands 3 is a game purely about the loot, but there's a load of crazy Easter eggs and references crammed into the game too. Today I'll be counting down 10 of the best, and I'll also be showing you where you can find them so you can enjoy them for yourself. And do let me know in the comments what your favourite Easter egg is, and maybe there might be enough extras for a part 2. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, or hey, maybe even subscribe. YouTube has told me that 90% of you who watch my videos aren't even subscribed, so if you enjoy the content I create, I'd appreciate you showing your support by subscribing. And let's crack into it. We open this countdown of the top 10 Easter eggs in Borderlands 3 with none other than Torgue cereal boxes. I don't know about you, but I love cereal, but the cereal here isn't for eating. There's no hunger bar we have to contend with, or maybe they are just empty boxes. Either way, they're scattered around many of the game's locations. You can pretty much find them everywhere, and will produce a sweet guitar riff whenever you stab or shoot them. That's obviously a nod to Mr. Torgue, the muscle dude that likes explosions and heavy metal. You can even see on the boxes. From creating a leading brand of weaponry to a line of breakfast foods, is there nothing this man can't do? Somewhere in DLC 4 there's an exact replica of a scene from a movie, and what scene could be cooler to have in Borderlands 3 than one from The Matrix? Krieg must have been a big fan of Keanu Reeves because it's found in his mind in the Benediction of Pain located around here. Ambient music plays as you enter the lobby where everything is frozen in time. The corpses of fallen psychos are scattered along the floor as the debris from crumbled pillars litter the air. It's a pretty sweet Easter egg, especially if you're a fan of The Matrix, and even if you're not, it's still captivating for sure. There's a house, no ordinary house, just prior to the Brunner in DLC 3. That may look a little familiar to you if you've ever played Call of Duty. It turns out that this burnt out skeleton of a home is pretty much an exact copy of one of the Nuketown houses in Call of Duty's most popular multiplayer map, which you'll find in every Treyarch developed game since the original Black Ops. It's back again with Cold War, and the similarities here are striking. Just a shame there's no mannequins left to shoot off their heads, but I guess an actual explosion like what happened here in Crater's Edge would turn them into dust anyway. Now for an Easter egg that goes beyond a standard reference. In Carnivora, as it opens to the desert wasteland, you may notice a symbol in the sky. The symbol of Rack City, located around here. This is clearly a reference to Batman's bat signal, and when you reach it you'll be in the Rat Cave, where you'll fight Rackman. Rackman also drops a unique legendary pistol, the Nightflyer, with the red text, "I have one rule." Batman also has one rule, and that's not to kill things, which this gun takes to heart. It'll put everyone on 1 HP, leaving them weak but not dead. Makes it kind of the worst weapon in the game because of that, but hey, it's a good Easter egg nonetheless. And if you're a collector, the gun's a pretty neat one to have. It's always cool to find hidden bosses in Borderlands 3, ones that spawn in random places. But it's even cooler when you need to solve a puzzle to do it. In the underground of Electricity around in this area, you'll find a combination of switches and levers, which when activated in the correct order, like shown here, will spawn One Punch, a formidable opponent.
If we don't kill him, at least we'll give him eczema!
He's a reference to the anime One Punch Man, and like his name suggests, He will down you in one punch. I guess it's because of all that lifting. He's the only source of the one pump chump, a unique legendary shotgun, and if you haven't spawned him yet, you should.
We'll give him some more.
Now for probably my favourite Easter egg and another exclusive to DLC 4. Who lives in a meat pineapple inside Krieg's mind? Well, SpongeBoss does, of course, the toughest opponent in the entire game. Krieg really has a diverse set of interests, the Matrix and SpongeBob. Who knew? He's a yellow Goliath that dual wields bubble blasters and won't stop asking you if you can feel it, Mr. Krabs. You're not Mr. Krabs, but that doesn't stop him from asking. He's always ready for a tussle, and like Flats, you'll have a hard time kicking his butt, especially if you let him level up to God Boss Spongy Pant Bullets, or whatever it is he's called. Now for a pretty cool Easter egg in DLC 2. You may have noticed a little creature roaming about in the lodge. Their name's Mancubite and they love to be petted, so much so that if you pet them 100 times, they will drop a unique epic weapon called the Kaleidoscope. It's a unique dart weapon that comes in fully automatic and 4-round burst firing modes. It fires amp shots every third shot, but only if you're aiming down the sights, looking through the Kaleidoscope. There is something else it does too, as the amp shots aren't normal, they're elemental. And like the Eldridian from the same DLC which has a similar effect, they don't change per mag, but every time you exit ADS. It's a sweet Easter egg, I mean who doesn't like loot, and I was happy to find it myself when it first came out, and the gun's a pretty cool one to have. There's a person you can meet in the first 2 DLCs named Skye, who is attempting to launch himself into space in an effort to land on a distant planet where he can convince the inhabitants that he is a god. It's so crazy it just might work, and there's evidence that it did, a lot of it, in his jail cell located here in the Benediction of Pain in Krieg's mind. There's a massively complicated equation written on the wall where he goes into incredible detail on how he'll achieve his goal. There's so much here that he's bound to be right, but there's also quite a lot of evidence suggesting he's gone mad. There's only one way to find out though, and that's by testing out his contraption. And what would you know, it looks like Skye is the guy to solve quantum entanglement after all. In second place, it's an Easter egg that had a lot of people stumped when the game first came out. In Nuketown, there's a weird spinning cube hovering above the ground as if by magic. Black magic, the scariest type. To unlock the cube and to solve the puzzle, you will need to shoot each of its 6 faces with a different element. There's 6 elements in the game including kinetic, and each face must be infused with a different one. You can't just do any element either, the symbols on the faces correspond to the element that you need to shoot it with, but it can easily be done through trial and error, and you'll know if they're right as the faces will light up. Once the whole cube has been lit up, it'll stop for a second before rotating and opening up, where it'll rain down a bunch of loot. If you haven't done this Easter egg yet, it's pretty awesome. Plus you get loot too, which is always nice. When you think about the best Easter eggs in Borderlands 3, you naturally think about 2 things, Tannis and a fish. That then escalates to Tannis riding the fish, and what could be better than that? This is pretty much the same Easter egg that's in Borderlands 2, but in Borderlands 3 you need to head to the outskirts of the Ambermire, located around in this area. Once there you'll notice a bunch of different coloured barrels, and you'll need to shoot them in a specific order, which will trigger the Easter egg. Doing so correctly will summon Tannis, and shortly after, a fish. It's definitely the weirdest Easter egg in the game, but it is entrancing and will have you standing in awe as you question what the heck it was you just witnessed. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of the top 10 Easter eggs in Borderlands 3. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.